Hello and good evening. Are you ready for more cognitive behaviour therapy? I know I am. I've got my emotional support dog with me. I've got my little book. And I've even had some blood drawn today. Look at that. Blood come out there. It's a miracle really, actually. It's getting closer. There we go. It's a miracle actually because I'm not very good with blood, ironically. And I'm going to save that story for another video because it's related to something else. But it's not going to go on here. Probably be on another one. Right. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Number 4. Identifying your thinking styles. Certain types of thinking styles are known to stress us out, make us feel low, anxious or angry. As we have seen, these thinking styles also often have a detrimental impact on our level of self-confidence. On the next page is a list of common, unhelpful thinking styles. Circle yes if you recognise any of your own thought patterns in these and provide a short example of when you think this way. For example, when my partner compliments me, when I get negative feedback at work, or when I look at my body in the mirror. Yeah, that's right. Exercise 4.1. Your unhelpful thinking styles. Ruminating/worrying. Going over and over the same thoughts or replaying events in your mind, often in a regretful or catastrophic way. It's often circular and obsessive in nature, and a definite conclusion is usually not reached despite spending lots of time pondering. That is very true. I do that a lot. Okay, so I'll show you. Look, it's like a yes or no, and you get to write a bit below it. So, yes or no? Yes, I do that a lot. I use this thinking style when... Yes. There is no when, it's just I do it. Sometimes there's a reason, sometimes it happens for no reason. Sometimes the strange little thing can make me think about it. I really wish I had more to this. Help me out here, people. Help me out. What about you, emotional support dog? What do you reckon? No? Nothing. I use this thinking style when... Yes. I'm just going to leave that as yes. Overanalyzing. Excessively questioning events, feelings, behaviours and sensations, often in an endless and sometimes philosophical way. Yes. I use this thinking style when... stuff happens. I question everything. I'll make a slightly small mistake and I'll question everything. And I mean everything. It's like this morning I had a blood test. And I wrote on the calendar, or my calendar I should say, Friday, 8:30. But when I got this morning I couldn't book in. And I said I can't book in. They said yes, that's because you missed it. I said really? It was like 8:32 at that point. So I thought, what's 2 minutes? They said, you missed it. It was yesterday. I said, you missed it? Yes. And they said, that's because it was yesterday at 8:20. And, well, not much you can really say about that. They told me to go home and book one online at Worthing Hospital, which I did. Hence this. I mean, I'm lucky I managed to get it done today, but point is, after I realised I made this monumental of a screw up, I berated myself the entire journey home. Made me question if I got it right or whether they just done this to mess with me. Neither would really surprise me. But then again, whenever I'm making a point of it, I tend to get it wrong 50% of the time. I mean, each doctor's appointment I go to, I know there's a chance I've written it down wrong. I've got the day or the time, sometimes both wrong. I'm not sure why this happens. It just does. It kind of brings me back to the whole video I did about being stupid and how it is, how it feels. And I had this imaginary conversation with someone, or rather, I had this imaginary conversation with my first girlfriend actually, who I've mentioned in another video title up on the screen. And she would often call me stupid. And in my head, I'm being called stupid for doing this same mistake again, which I often do. And eventually I snapped at this imaginary person berating me, and I said, "Can you shut up? Please just shut up. I don't choose to be like this. Okay, I did not choose like this. Okay, no person chooses to be this way. Being stupid like this is a real curse. And I mean a real curse. Okay, because I didn't choose to be this way. And I don't think anybody really would. I mean, sometimes it just feels like I've been cursed with stupidity, but just enough intelligence to know about it, but not being able to do anything about it. That makes sense. So yeah, I had a imaginary conversation. And that, I suppose really that gets me back to ruminating, worrying about things too. You know, let's go back to the things. I mean, that whole thing about getting that dot point was going to be a separate video, but no point now, I've spoken about it. Anyway, right. Criticising. Strong negative appraisal of oneself or other people in situations in negatively charged terms. I'm not 100% sure what that means. So let's go in. Strong negative appraisal. Okay, I get that. I give myself those all the time. Of oneself or other people. Actually, that's true. I often think of people and I sometimes know, and sometimes I just see people and I think, you're an idiot. How are you alive still? I mean, I ask myself that question a lot as well. Yeah, so that's a yes. As to when I use this style, it's all the time. There's no real pattern. Sometimes just a random event can make me think of one thing, and then it will lead me to another thought, and another thought, and another thought, and another, and another. Yeah? Am I making sense? I hope I am. Sometimes I think I'm not. Anyway, let's go on to the next question. This is hard today. I mean, the last couple of nights were easy. Not comfortable, but easy. Right. Excuse me. This cold's coming out still. Over scrutiny. Excessive examination of oneself or other people, often looking for the flaws, mistakes, or failures. Yes. I use this thinking style when? All the time. Anything goes wrong? Well, like the story I just explained. Anything goes wrong, I will over-examine myself. I think of all the other times I think stupid. And I think to myself, no one else does this. No one. Just me. Okay, next one. Blaming. Externalising the root cause of your stress or well-being, thus taking no responsibility for either. Now I feel targeted. Half the time I blame myself. Half the time I blame the world. I use this thinking style when I'm depressed. As I said, sometimes I blame myself. Sometimes I blame the world for screwing me over like this. On to the next. Our thoughts can contain many unhelpful characteristics or thinking errors that will undoubtedly lead to negative emotions. Opposite is a list of common thinking errors that many of us use. See how many you recognise and how many sound familiar to your thoughts. So I have another page of common thinking errors. I'll read them. Common thinking errors. All or nothing thinking. When we see things as black and white, no shades in between. Example, I can't even cook a meal, I'm a terrible parent. Yeah, I do that stuff. As I said, I'll make one mistake and I'll assume I'm the biggest idiot and least talented in that field of things forever. Overgeneralization. When we take a one-off negative event as evidence of an enduring pattern. Example, he didn't ring. This always happens to me. No one will ever love me. See, now I'm being targeted again. It's like they're reading my mind at times. I do this all the time. Previous relationships I used to do this. It's like when I was in my last relationship. You're going back about, well, the relationship ended in 2018, but you're going back about 2015. Actually, no, it'd been 2012, I think, when we first started talking. We used to talk every night online before I went to work. But one night she wasn't on, so I just assumed that she got bored of me and never wanted to speak to me ever again. I do that all the time. Okay. Mental filter. When we dwell on a single negative detail to the exclusion of all else. Example. In my job appraisal, they said I needed to be more punctual. Must be doing really badly. I'll never get promoted. Yeah, I sometimes do that. I can't think of examples right now, but I'm sure I can. Disqualifying the positive. Oh, now this is something I do all the time. When we maintain negative beliefs about ourselves by discounting positive experiences and compliments from others. Example. Anyone could have done that. It was nothing special. I can't do anything worthwhile. I'll tell a story. I have a friend I talk to. I suppose really you could call him it's sort of like a pen pal. Although it's messages on a popular social media network. I mean, if they're watching there, probably know I mean them. And we send messages to each other about once a week or so. And I give, well, they're quite long messages, so I tend to, so I've got to reply when I can, if that makes sense. And I've been open to this person about my negative emotions about myself, and they've comforted me and said things like, no, James, that's not true. You're a really good person. You're just a generally decent human being. And I dismiss that all the time. And I'll say things like, no, that's just the bare minimum a person should do. Don't give me a medal for doing the bare minimum, okay? And I say things like this all the time. To the point where it gets quite annoying for the other person, I think. They're just trying to give me compliments and I'm just saying, well, no. It's like I spoke about how what was this? What is this comes down? This conversation's left my head now.
2 hours later.
As I was saying, I will dismiss any compliment about myself. You tell me I'm nice, I'll say I'm not really nice, it's just who I am. You tell me I go above and beyond for my friends and people I care about, I'll say yeah, but that's what you're supposed to do anyway. And I do this all the time. If you tell me I have a talent at something, I'll say it's not really a talent because tons of other people can do this too. And I'll sometimes get annoyed with people and I'll say, look, don't mock me, okay, and tell me I'm good just for doing the bare minimum. Or tell me I'm talented just because I can do a thing that a ton of other people can do. I do this all the time. Disqualifying from the positive. Ooh, now it gets interesting. Shoulds. We place rigid and absolute demands on events, ourselves and others, not allowing for the natural imperfection of ourselves, others and the world around us. Example, my partner should know exactly how I feel. Okay, I've not done that bit, because when I'm in relationships, I often go a bit overboard with the text sharing how I feel. I really do. To the point it can sometimes get annoying. And when they tell me it's annoying, I tend to get annoyed and say, oh, sorry, I didn't realise caring made me such a horrible person. Yeah, I'm toxic, I know. I will do. I'll put great demands on myself to be this perfect person that I know I can't be. And then I'll just berate myself for not being that person. Right. Jumping to conclusions. Yeah, I'm feeling targeted again. When we draw negative conclusions, they're often about ourselves without having the facts to support them. This may be in the form of mind reading. She must think I'm a bit of a loser, and or predicting the future. Why take the exam? I'm bound to fail. Two things I've said to myself many times. Why bother talking to that person? They're not going to be interested in talking to me. Why should I bother trying to do this other thing? I'll only fail. It's like, I'd like to go back into education. It's just to learn a bit of German or something, just to help me out. Or my dad thinks I should go back to learn a trade or something, because, job markets are hard. And I've always said no, I've not told him why, but truth is, I'm convinced I'll fail whatever I try. I can always see it in my head, me going, being the older one there who everyone expects to pass, and then suddenly, oh no, he's failed. Turns out he's an idiot. And I'll be like, well, I knew this was going to happen. In fact, chances are I'll probably stop going halfway through just to sabotage myself and then make sure I do fail. So I'm right about myself. See, this is the thinking I'm trying to overcome. One of the reasons I'm reading this book here. And I'm hoping I'll do better, because I know this is just a start, but I really hope it does help me overcome the thinking that I have, because that's what I'm struggling with. It's that little voice that keeps saying, they're not interested in talking to you. You're just going to fail the other thing you're going to try, so why bother? Let's just sit at home until you implode. Not literally implode, of course, because that'd be gross, but you get what I mean. Right. Magnifying or minimizing. When we exaggerate the importance of things, like mistakes or other people's success. Reduce the importance of others. Your own positive qualities or someone else's faults. Example, I really messed up big time. Sure, everyone else knew what to do. I'm such a dimwit. Yeah, that's me. Like this morning. I'm an idiot. I thought there was a bit of swearing going on. I saw it myself. I called myself some names I won't say here because they're not nice. And I gave myself the old, what kind of an idiot doesn't know what time their doctor's appointment is? Me, that's it. Me. I'm the idiot. No one else does this. I mean, people do. I imagine it happens a fair bit, but point is, this is what I do. I'll make a simple mistake and I'll hate myself for it, and I'll call myself names. And sometimes I yell at God and say, why the F did you make me this way? What was the point? Am I being punished for a past life or something? I'm not even sure I believe in God, but when bad things happen, I do. I know that because I'm convinced that every bad thing is the God I don't really sure I believe in punishing me for something I may have done. For daring to be happy, or for having those lustful thoughts which everyone has. 99% of people anyway. I mean, would the supernatural being punish me directly? No, of course they wouldn't. It's stupid thinking. But it's what I do. And it's what I'm trying to overcome. Right. Emotional reasoning. When we assume our feelings inform us as facts, I feel scared and shaky. I'm going to lose control. Yep, that's me. I feel nervous, so I presume bad things are going to happen. Labelling and mislabeling. When we describe events in emotionally loaded terms. Instead of being descriptive and factual, example, what a jerk, he never helps out. I will admit I am quick to label other people. Not just myself, other people too. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I never tell people because I'm a coward, but sometimes I think someone's an idiot or selfish from being just saying normal. And it's usually leads to me labelling and mislabeling people all the time. But luckily I'm too scared to say anything to these people, so they never know what I think, and I only get to look like an idiot in front of myself. So it's not all bad. Personalisation. When we misattribute personal responsibility solely to ourselves, or another when we/they were not primarily responsible. For example, it's all my/your fault. Yeah, I do this all the time. I really do. Things happen, I either blame myself or I blame another person. It's not just because, sometimes things happen. It's always someone's fault, mostly mine, occasionally other people's. What thinking errors am I making? Well, all of them really. It is important to recognise what thinking errors you may be making to start to relieve yourself of negative emotions. Try exercise 4.2 to get to grips with your thinking errors. Exercise 4.2. Identifying your thinking errors. Try to remember some stressful situations that you were recently in. First note the situation and then the negative thoughts that went through your mind in that situation. Finally, try to identify what thinking errors you are making. You may find that you want to refer to the list of common thinking errors on the previous page, which is to help you label each thinking error you made. If you fail, I've made them all. We have included an example to help you get started. Situation: at a dinner party. Negative thought: I'm really quiet, they must all think I'm a really boring person. I should be bubblier, they'll never invite me around again. Thinking errors: jumping to conclusions, my reading. Should overgeneralization predicting the future. Now this is something I actually do. Because I don't know if you ever went to parties when you was younger, or hey, you might still do. If you remember at that party, there's always one person that's just sitting in the corner being quiet, playing with their phone. Well, that was me. That's me. So I never know what to say to people after time. If I'm honest with you, and I say I do know, but I'm too scared is the truth. Too scared if I let them know, oh well, I think this thing, or I like that other thing. It's like to think I'm some sort of freak and not want to talk to me. So let's try this again, okay? Because I'll show you, you've got to give 3 here, but I'll give 1 for now. At a party, negative thoughts: I'm being quiet, everybody dislikes me. Or my other one: would anyone even notice if I left? The thinking error is, doesn't mean I will. Of course everyone notices me. Everyone notices, and chances are they feel sorry for me being the quiet guy. Sometimes people would talk to me. I try my best, but they soon go because I was never that interesting. I'm supposed to come up with 2 more situations. Let's think. Think. You know what? I can't. We know what I'm doing. We know I've made every damn error. Oh, good lord, I'm supposed to be doing 6. I think I may have to do some of this in my spare time, people, and let you know the results. So anyway, let's leave it at that for now. Let's go on. Don't be worried if you have discovered that you use unhelpful thinking styles and or a lot of thinking errors. Well, yes, I do. Most of us engage in some or all of these from time to time, so you're certainly not alone. Also remember that we can only improve on something when we know exactly what we are dealing with. Now that you are better acquainted with your unhelpful cognitive patterns, you're in a much better position to change them. I hope they're alright. In this chapter you have gained an understanding of the different types of common thinking styles and errors, and identified which of these you might usually make. Continue reading to discover how these are affecting you, and then how we can address them. And that is the end of chapter 4. As my throat is starting to hurt still, as I still have a sore throat, so I'm going to leave it there tonight, chapter 4. It's been 20 odd minutes, so I think that's good. And I don't see the point in making these videos too long because it just gets boring. I know nobody really stands out or stays this long, I should say. Anyway, I'm James. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you're doing your own cognitive behaviour therapy if you feel you need it. Until next time, bye.